Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we're going to take our semi-regular look into the world of Star Citizen. We like doing these little videos, just sort of giving you an update on the current state of it, because obviously there could be guys out there that are sort of waiting on the fringes. Should I, invest into a pack or not? And, this is my 10 cents on what I think the game, its current state is. So let's get into it. First of all, is it ready for release? No. As you can see, the physics engines sometimes go off on one. It is better than the last time I played it, in fairness. I've spent a considerable amount of time playing it this time around and made some changes into the way I generally play it, so it's interesting. I did also drop £40 on a ship, which I then realised I didn't need, which we'll get to. So I bought a cutter, because when I started, I went to do the regular courier stuff that I normally do in Star Citizen, right? So that's where you go to a base, you pick up a few boxes, you put them in your ship, and then you go off on your way and deliver it somewhere else. And these boxes are big enough to carry yourself, and they used to kill me. So I thought, let's do it again, see if it doesn't kill me. Well, it doesn't kill me because they've completely changed the way that job type works. Now, to pick up a box, you need to go get the box from a wreck. Lovely. So you need to go out in space, make sure your spacesuit's on, and your helmet is more importantly on. Open up your ship, EVA across to it, explore the ship, pick up the parcel, bring it back to your ship, and then take it where it needs to go. That sounds a little bit more finicky than before, but fine. Except it's not made easier by the fact that you can potentially be attacked while you're doing this. I did indeed have to destroy somebody, not a PvP guy, it's an AI encounter, but so yes, and I had to run away once, so so it's more dangerous like that. And there was a multi-level ship that the package was on, and I looked everywhere for it and could not find the package. I eventually came to the conclusion that it just didn't spawn, which is something that happens in Star Citizen. So I was like, right, well, I'm not really enjoying this whole courier malarkey anymore. Let's actually try and do some proper haulage. So I started doing the haulage, which is why I bought the ship. So I thought, right, well, my normal ship's got 2 container slots on it. I'll buy a 4-container one. So I dropped 40 quid on the cutter, opened up the thing, and then realised that I mysteriously had an Anvil, which is a different ship from the one that came in my pack, which was the Aurora Mark 1, I believe, which isn't a very good ship, but it's, serviceable for courier missions. And the Anvil had 4 storage units in it, so you could say I kind of wasted my money, but yeah, the Anvil also didn't have a bed. I kind of like the whole fantasy of being able to just have a self-contained living quarter in your ship, which is quite nice. But yeah, so I'm not fussed that I spent 40 quid on a ship that maybe I didn't need. I like having it, and it's the security of knowing you'll have it once any server wipes happen as well. That's kind of what you're really paying for when you buy a ship. Because obviously you can earn money in game, buy whatever ship you want, but then the server wipe happens and you're going to lose it. So there's that. So cargo haulage, is it any better than the courier jobs? I'm having fun with it, actually. I did a few runs to get some money together with my new cutter. And, I enjoyed it pretty much. I worked out how to use the multi-tool for tractoring. I tried it salvaging, but that was pretty, not salvaging, mining I used it for before, on a previous attempt to play the game. And that resulted in my death more times than not, so I kind of gave up on that. But yeah, I'm having a lot more fun with it. than I was with trying to do the Courier missions for sure. So salvaging, you do a tutorial mission, and then you get access to more jobs, and then you sort of, as you do jobs, you gain reputation with the company you're doing jobs for, and then you get access to bigger jobs with bigger cargo and more of it for more money or more rep, which is all things you want. So I'm actually, it's a good, relaxed, chill way to play the game, although there are some moments of stress. So basically what I did was I got some money together using my cutter, and then I decided, right, I want to like step this up, because 4 units is quite restrictive. Even on like a small request, it's like 2 to 3 trips, which is not ideal, especially when all your quantum drive sort of thing is done in real time. You don't just like appear wherever your destination is, and then you got to fuck around with orbital points if you're not on the right side of the planet, that sort of shtick. So I was like, let's go rent a ship. That's the way forward. So I did a bit of research, and I kind of came across like the Spirit C1, which it looks it's a nice looking ship. It's got 64 units of storage and can take the biggest, well, not the biggest, but you can take up to 32 unit containers. They basically go one on each side of the cargo bay. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And it's got a tractor turret on the back of it. So, even loading the cargo can be a bit onerous with the hand tool, until I found out you can extend and retract the length of the beam, so you can basically suck in the cargo and turn around and put it into your hold, which is a nice feature that I didn't know it had, because none of the tooltips on screen tell you it can do that. Once again, Star Citizen has a lot of features that it doesn't tell you. So really make sure if you, I'm sat there playing the game, and I've basically got a Google session open at most of the times, because I have to go out and go, sorry about that, I went to mime typing on my keyboard. I managed to pause the recording. Lovely, well done me. So I'm there typing in, where can I rent this? What was the cargo capacity of it? How do I do this? How do I do that? This isn't working. Is there a workaround? That sort of thing. Speaking of workarounds, yes, that vaunted tractor turret, where you can just like, you kind of have to like finick about when you're landing, so you get the rear of your ship lined up with the freight elevator, so you can just like boom, go down to the landing pad, go in the kiosk for the freight elevator, get the stuff from storage, bring it up, and then you can just go back into your ship, sit in the co-pilot seat, and use the tractor turret to get all the stuff in, nice and easy, right? Except sometimes the tractor turret doesn't work, and like sometimes you can fix it by stashing it and then redeploying it, and sometimes it doesn't, and it just doesn't work sometimes. And so you have to go out with your hand tractor, and like if you're slightly off, you kind of got to like move with it, and you move really, really slow when you've got a tractor beam locked on something. You're just doing it by hand. You could buy like one of the suits that do tractoring as well. It would do it a lot faster, but it is money for convenience basically. So I was like, nah. Outside of that, I'm loving the C1. It's like 60 grand to rent it for a 24-hour period. Now, the rental periods, unfortunately, aren't in-game. It's like real time. So if I like ordered it last night, I played it again last night. But I'm obviously working today. I'm doing this in my lunch hour. And, and then log back in, I get like maybe 4 hours usage of a 24-hour period for 60 grand. And I was like, nah. So I did some missions with the cutter last night, and then when I log on tonight, I shall be, because tomorrow is Good Friday and I've got off work, yay, I will have a 24-hour period, mostly. I will have it up to like, 6 o'clock in the evening to actually get some work done with it, and then I can rehire it again if I want. Or you can obviously hire for up to a week if you want, and it probably works out cheaper, but I'm not sure I'd have enough like hours in it over a week that I would justify that. I'd rather pick and choose my days. I'm fine with that. But considering, any ship that you buy with credits could well go in any sweep. I've heard like some people say that sometimes they get left, but like sometimes isn't really good enough for me if I'm investing millions into a ship. Now the Spirit is like 3 million something, I think, so it's not hugely expensive compared to some, so I might purchase it just to stop with the less of a fuss. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what are you earning the credits for? It's to buy ships, really, isn't it? And to like dude them up and stuff like that. If you can't do that, there's no real point on earning credits. So you got to make a choice and be okay with the fact that it could go any time. They haven't got what's the term? Just like a wipe. That's the word I was looking for. I was thinking sweep, but no, wipe. They haven't got a server wipe scheduled for any time soon, so hopefully they won't just drop one on me out of the blue, but they could. I have had still there are a lot of bugs in the game. You can put like a can down on a counter and it's not on the counter. You're like, where is that? And it's just floating next to you, and you're like, there it is. But for the most part, it's less bad. There's only been one bug that killed me, and another. I mean, you saw the one with this ship basically going mental after I retrieved it from storage. I've had a similar one where I think this was lag, but then it was weird after the lag as well. So I'm docking, right? So I'm flying into a docking bay. It's one of the ones that opens on the side, so I'm flying straight into it rather than descending into it, which I hate those. So I'm flying into it, and the game lags. And next thing I know, I'm kissing the back of the docking port with the front of my ship, which is obviously bad. You don't want to like have your ship in contact with anything, really. That's bad. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And I stopped it, and I landed it, and I turned the engines off. I was like, whew. And as I go to get out of the chair, the ship goes mental. It starts spinning all over the fucking place. I'm like, okay, I need to get back in the chair. And because the chair and the cutter, basically, you sit in the chair, it rotates around, and then you get elevated to a higher position, and then you get access to controls. In the midst of that, it just blew up. So I was like, oh, brilliant. And I had like part of a cargo job in my ship, so that kind of fucked the cargo job as well. I have heard, though, that if you cancel like a fucked mission, it gives you like reduced credit reputation with the company. So instead of cancelling the mission, I've been told that if you just like leave it on your mission list, ignore it, do others. I mean, maybe if it's timed, don't ignore it, because you can get some timed ones. I suppose if you ignore it and it's timed, it will fail anyway. So don't do that if it's timed. But like when you log out, it's the game is supposed to forget about those missions, and you won't lose any reputation, but and the mission will go away. So hopefully that's the case. I haven't had the chance to try it out because I haven't fucked up a mission since then, so yay. But I am having a good time with it. I would highly recommend renting a ship, because like doing like 3 runs to get one cargo job done, and it's like 40 gigameters away, and that can get slightly boring, just doing the same thing over and over and over. And you could say, well, that's all that haulage is, but to do that and not getting monetary reward after each one, only after the 3, is kind of where I'm going with that. So if you rent a ship, you get access to a bigger ship with a much cargo hold at a much more affordable price. I mean, you only need to do like maybe 1 mission, 2 at the most, to like get your money back for the rental, and then everything else is profit. So it's cool. I like that. So I am enjoying my time with it. I'm probably going to play it for more of a protracted period than I have before, purely because I'm not getting killed by picking up the crates. I did get knocked over by one, but I was being an arsehole with the handheld tractor thing, so I'm blaming myself for that one. It did take me a while to work out what the fuck was going on with the tractor turret, because you deploy it from the co-pilot seat. You can also deploy it while you're using the tractor turret, though, by pressing back, S. So if you do that, it just like slides halfway up the ship and doesn't do anything because it's retracted and not in an operable state. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Why's that gone back here? Do I need to move it so I can like reach different parts of the ship? That was my initial thing, but the beam wasn't coming on. I was just like, what the fuck? Of course, nowhere in the game tells you that. it wasn't even a tooltip on the screen, at least when it happened. Sometimes it does pop the tooltips that you need. Other times it doesn't. Like, it took me fucking forever to remember how to lower my landing gear menu. I was looking down using the fucking lever for most of it. So, nah. Performance-wise, it's still pretty crap. I mean, my system's not the most advanced system in the world. 32 gig of RAM. Thank you, the commenter I can't remember the name of, that advised me to use 32 rather than 16. It made it a much better experience, far less stuttery. But still, the frame rate isn't very good. I mean, it's usually hovering around mid-40s. It does have upscaling, but I think it advises you to use its own upscaler. If I'm remembering correctly, I've played a lot of games recently. And the results of ones that aren't its own upscaler aren't any better. In fact, they're mostly worse, so I would advise against that. Mid-40s is kind of playable. I would prefer 60 minimum. I've also tried knocking down the graphics quality, but it doesn't seem to make a whole bunch of difference, to be fair. It's still around like the mid-40s. It may be a frame or two in it, but I don't really consider that a good enough trade-off. I have tried putting up to Ultra. That did make a difference and lowered me. So I'm playing on very high, I think it is. I've tried like high and medium, and neither of those two really made a huge difference to the frame rate. And going lower than that is just a concession I'm not really willing to make. I like having a lovely game. You can say what you want about Star Citizen. It is a goddamn beautiful game. So, I pays my money, I makes my choice in that regard. Until I can scrape together a remortgage and get a 5090 or something like that. But then, as I went through last week, then that means upgrading the rest of my PC, so I may as well just fucking buy a pre-built. Oy. In fact, that would probably be cheaper nowadays, considering the RAM prices and the prices of everything with RAM in, like graphics cards. The CPU and motherboard are probably the least worrying part of the build. But yeah, I'm getting on with Star Citizen. As I say, there's still jank. It's not ready for release. But, I mean, there is significant amounts of stuff to do in it that I'd be okay recommending it to people that like this style of game. It's not as... Oh, God. I feel weird saying this. It's not as immediately accessible as Elite Dangerous. And this is going from, this is a game in Elite Dangerous where there are, tutorials and learning how to do fucking shit before you should play it. You need to watch videos on how to play it. It's like fucking doing the theory of your driving test or something before you can play the game. This is worse because it doesn't tell you half the shit you need to know. You need to go and ferret out yourself. And you're looking at and if you look at the key bindings, and it shows you a picture of a keyboard and mouse, and there's fucking at least 3 bindings for every key, and you're like, oh my lord. Just find the ones you need would be my advice. There's fucking shit tons everywhere. Just find the ones you need. And then just go with those. Half the stuff on there you'll probably never need to use, like the ones that extend your ship out to open cargo bays and shit. Most of the time you'll never need that, so don't worry about it, right? And there are so many keys like that. There really are. But yes, I am much more enjoying my time with Star Citizen. And I'm actually, instead of just quitting frustrated, which is what happened every other time I've played with it, in the fact that I've spent 3 hours doing something and just died because a box decided it didn't like me anymore when I picked it up and killed me. Don't know why. So there's that, but there is still a lot of jank with it. The inventory can be glitchy. Sometimes it'll let me equip stuff, sometimes it won't let me equip stuff. Don't know, sometimes I can drag it onto me, sometimes I can't drag it onto me. Sometimes if I can't drag and I need to right click and go equip. So there's shit like that. It's just really arbitrary. You never know when something is going to stop working. And you never know if what stopped working has a community found workaround based on it, which is what it is. Now, I appreciate that Star Citizen is not a fully released game. This is essentially an alpha build. But, it's been going for 10 years and they haven't really nailed down just the basics, like the physics engine can just go mental at the drop of a hat. There's nothing you can do about it. If the game decides that you're dead, you are dead. It doesn't matter how good you are at flying a ship. You're just dead, man. So it is lessened, as I said. So I'll give them their credit for that. But after like over a decade now, I'd expect them to have nailed down like the core engine and just be working on the features. In fact, I would have expected them to have done that like 5 years ago, maybe more. Because it is their own proprietary engines. It's none, as far as I'm aware anyway, I believe it's their own proprietary engine. So, yay, you're not licensing Unreal like every other developer, but also, nah. You watch. I'll probably go away now and Google it, and it'll be like, yeah, Star Citizen runs on Unreal 5. Yeah. So I'll shut up about that in case I am proven wrong. But so you need to have patience to play the game is basically what it boils down to. If you do have patience, there's a lot to like about it. Like the systems they've implemented, when they work, are really good. I'm enjoying using them. I like haulage. I like the chill nature of like just the only stressful part is landing for me. I fucking hate landing. Apparently when I bought the car I got auto landing. I have no idea how to fucking use it because it doesn't tell me how to use it obviously, and I haven't bothered googling it yet, so I'm not even sure what that means anymore either. Maybe it just like gets me docking clearance automatically, or whether it actually lands my ship for me, I do not know. There's certainly nothing on the control panel which just suggests that. Also the control panel, there are buttons on the control panels that correspond to things your ship can do, like headlights, things like that. But they don't work, even though you can turn the headlights on and off with a hotkey. So you're just like, well, why doesn't that button work? If you want me to be able to use buttons, let me use the buttons. How difficult is it putting in a fucking hitbox for a button? Probably not that difficult, I would imagine. I also don't think they're representative as to whether a thing is actually on or off, like the headlights. I toggled it on and off and the switch didn't move, so I don't believe that's the case. So it's just little things like that. It's little annoyances. Now, I mean, I understand that that's nothing compared to the problem log they probably got. But it is something that's noticeable to me at least. But yeah, a lot of patience. You like this sort of game, I'd recommend it. I wouldn't recommend like getting an expensive pack for it. Just get the base one, do a few missions in your little tiny ship, and then hire out a bigger ship and work your way up like that. And then if you've got like a load of credits in your bank and you're like, well, there's no announced wipe and I've got all this money that I'm not doing anything with, let's buy a ship and go for it. But I couldn't recommend pledging. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do when it releases fully and the persistent universe doesn't get wiped. I mean, once it's at version 1, there's no way they can wipe that and just wipe out everybody's progress. I mean, people that have bought the early packages are inured to this because they understand it's an alpha and they need to update and it needs to be wiped so they can start from fresh, which you can understand. But in a release game, they're not going to be able to do that. So are people going to spend thousands of dollars on ships that they can just grind for in game? I don't think so. Or at least not very many people, at the very least. I mean, you see some of the prices. I mean, I looked up the Spirit. I thought, well, if it's like 50 quid, maybe I could justify it. It's £140 for the Spirit. 140 quid. And I was like, no, that is way too much for me to eat. Even though it's a nice ship and I like it and I'd want to own one, I would, and it would be nice to not have to worry about the server wipes. I am not dropping £140 on that fucker. No chance. I can just rent it until I can afford to buy it, and then if it goes away, I can just rent it again. There you go. So, Star Citizen, that's the current state of play in my own less than learned opinion, but I am enjoying it for what it's worth. The game hasn't murked me too often that I've given up on it in frustration, which is usually what happened before, so I guess that's progress, right? That the game doesn't kill me out of spite. So that's all from me. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on Star Citizen. You know, have you found that it's better now? I mean, I realised that the other one was well over a year ago, maybe even 2, in my state of play videos. So I will be continuing to play it and building up my bank of credits until I can buy a fuck off big ship. It's just like, I'm kind of worried about that, because then you need to work out how to use docking ports and, you know, unloading cargo while still in space, which is, you know, I don't have to worry about landing then, I suppose, so maybe. Oh dear. But apparently that's bugged to fuck anyway, and it often doesn't take all of your cargo out, and you get like, you sometimes have to like submit the mission with only like 75-80% of your cargo delivered. Yes, look, I have been researching, because it's a game that requires an almost you to get a degree in it for you to be able to play it efficiently. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Anyway, guys, that's been a relatively long one, and I need to get back to work, unfortunately, for all of the clients that I need to work on and fuck up properly. Oh well, I'm extremely caffeinated, which is, you can probably tell. So yay for tea. That one commenter that I also can't remember the name of, that advised drinking tea. I've had too much. But anyway, I'll catch you next time. Take it easy, guys.